your shoes. Yeah, put them up so everyone can see. Like, you're totally outclassing me in shoes. Like, that's not hard to do.
The socks?
The socks too, dude. Like, that's not hard to outclass me in footwear, but you have, like, done it to a degree no one has before.
Ah, well, I've got green and blue and gray versions of this as well.
You're just showing off. Welcome back to Meet the Devs. With me today is our design director, Todd Papy.
Hello.
Todd, how you doing, man?
Good to meet you.
Oh, it's good to meet you again. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
So, you joined the project, what, a couple of months ago?
February 1st.
February. And before that, you were over at Crytek, correct?
Yes, sir.
How was it like over there?
It was good. I mean, I went over for Rise 2, actually.
Rise 2.
So you know, I saw what they had from a tech standpoint, what they had from an art standpoint, and I felt like I could help make a difference from a design standpoint. And then from there, Rise 2 went away, and we worked on some different games. And then before I left, I was working on Hunt, so which is basically kind of like a 1870s monster hunter game, and you know, that obviously fit closer to my previous work history and all of that. So it was a good time, and I still have friends there, so I'm rooting for them and looking forward to seeing the game when it comes out.
Yeah, me too, man. I hope they're doing well over there.
Yeah.
So before that, you were actually you're out here in Santa Monica over at Sony Santa Monica, where you actually worked on God of War Ascension. Yeah. What was that like? I
mean, I started at Sony Santa Monica in 2003, worked on the first God of War, left after a while, and then came back 15 months later, worked on God of War 2, and then worked on God of War 3 and Ascension. So it was really kind of a home away from home, you know, and had a bunch of friends there that I'd grown up with and worked with at my previous company. So Stig and Steve Caterson and Mark Simon and Justin Henry, these are guys that I had worked with at Atari when I first got into the industry, and then we went down to Sony Santa Monica and worked there. So
I don't know if you knew this. I mentioned to you this once before. I actually worked on God of War Ascension at Sony San Diego in the QA department.
Yep.
And then I did the online testing after it was released for the servers.
Okay.
So it's just weird how they said that, you know, I got an email, it was like, oh, Todd Papy's coming on design director. I was like, I worked on his old game.
Yeah, and I mean, it just kind of shows you how small the industry is. Like Rob Reiniger, who's a designer in Austin with us, I think he and I started, if not the exact same day, within a week of each other at Atari. So it's very, very close-knit industry.
What was it like? What was the culture shock coming from somewhere like? I've never worked at Crytek, but I imagine it's a normal place, and coming to here, which is fun, but definitely not normal.
Well, I mean, I think every company has their idiosyncrasies, and then it's kind of like dating, where you find out, you know, can I live with this or can I not live with this? And with cloud, I think the biggest thing for me is with Chris and kind of how agile we are. You know, there's a certain bit of chaos. And I like chaos.
Me too,
you know, and I like the you know, being able to go in there and say, okay, what's wrong? Let's fix this. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Chris, what out of these three options do you like? You know, and then making sure that we're moving forward and constantly progressing.
That is definitely my favorite thing about the project as well. When it seems like there's a lot, it seems like everything is going wrong, but then you find an idea and you find the way to make it better. Yeah. And it just works because you have so many people, not just at this studio, at our studios around the world, that are all doing the best they can to accomplish one thing, and that is make Star Citizen. Well,
I think a lot of people think of, you know, game making, it's you're just sitting there designing or you're sitting there building art. In reality, what we're doing is we're sitting there problem solving and figuring out, okay, well, today's problem is this, and tomorrow's problem is going to be something completely different, and it's going to be interesting and fun, and that's kind of what gets me excited and gets me awake in the morning. So.
What's it like being a design director for Chris Roberts?
He is like a director that I've never worked with before. So, I mean, I worked with David Jaffe, Corey Barlog, Stig, Asmussen, and then I've worked with previous ones, you know, at Atari as well. each one of those.
By the way, sorry, that's like 3 of my favorite game designers of all time. By the way.
So each one of them have their own strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Dave, came from basically design background. Corey from an animation background, Stig from an art director background. Ed Log, he was a programmer, but he didn't really talk design or art or anything like that. Chris's nature is a programmer, and so he'll be talking about servers and how he wants those servers set up, and diving into the EVA code and rewriting that. And then he'll come to me and he'll say, well, I'm thinking about this from a design perspective, or commenting on Shotgun about art and oh hey, I want it this way or I want it that way, and he's a very instinctual designer, meaning it comes from his gut, and so when you present him 3 different options, it works best, or works best if you give him a couple of options and he's like, okay, I really like this one, or I don't like any of them and here's why I don't like those. And then at that point you can start narrowing down your focus and really finding out what is he trying to get across.
What's it like dealing with design on so many what would seem to be different elements? Like you're looking at ship design, you're looking at FPS design. Is that, were you prepared for that? Or are you excited about that? No.
I don't think anybody could be prepared for that. When I first started, I was supposed to be the FPS game director, and so I'm still focused on that. I'm still, we're still pushing towards that. But at the same time, then you've got other things that will pull in your focus of, okay, well, with S42, there's systems that they're looking at and that we're trying to think of, and then talking to Dan and the designers here, okay, well, cargo, or how is this ship going to work? What's the thought process behind the ship? What's the design process behind the ship? Or talking with Tony and saying, okay, character customization, what are we doing? I don't know yet. Well, let's figure that out, kind of thing. So, again, it's just challenges, and I love that.
It's a fun place to work, isn't
it?
All right, we're going to let you go before we have to do some rapid fire questions. Ready?
Okay.
Favorite movie?
Fight Club.
Seen it. Great movie. Love it.
Okay, good.
Favorite? Oh, yeah.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Is that just a Brad? Anything?
No,
Brad
well,
Pitt
I mean, you got 12 Monkeys.
Never
You've
seen
got
it.
Fight Club.
Seen it.
You've got Thelma and Louise.
Never seen it.
Okay, no, I'm joking. I'll leave it there.
Okay. Favorite video game?
Half-Life 1.
Great game.
Yeah.
Why 1 over 2? Just curious.
To me, it was the level design and just the thought process behind it, and the way that you could go about and deal with their challenges. I mean, obviously, with Gravity Gun, that opens up new doors and new things, but to me, the amount of time that I spent playing Half-Life 1 and the multiplayer with other people was fantastic.
Yeah, I also think, for the record, I love Half-Life 1 and 2. I also think how open Half-Life 2 was kind of hurt at times. Like the pacing got a little wonky at times. But
and that to me is the hardest part is, if you're going for a well-paced game, then a lot of times you can't go as wide.
Yeah.
You want to go more linear and more focused. So.
All right, and favorite ship in Star Citizen?
I would have to say the Tally.
Why?
So, just the lines. I like the SR-71, and that one just kind of it hints at it, but just the look of it is pure sexy.
Right. Thanks again for coming on, man.
Thanks, James.
Once again, this is Todd Papy, our design director. I'm James Pugh, and you just met a dev. You got to point the screen. There you go. You got it.